Greeting everyone, I'm Kevin, and today it's time for the February stats. So I'm going to go through everything that I read and all the little things that has to do with that, just the same as my January video. And if you want to check that out, it's up there in the cards. But without further ado, let's start with the amount of books that I started. I have started 19 books in February, and I have only DNF'd 3. One that I completely DNF'd, that I said this, I'm not going to continue this book, and 2 that I started but that I just haven't finished yet, but that I am planning to finish. You know what I mean? So that is 19 books started and 16 books finished. And the amount of pages that I have read is 4,848. And this includes the 3 books that I DNF'd. And I only count the amount of pages of these books that I read. So for example, Frostheart I read 111 pages of. So I count the 111 pages that I read because I did read those pages. So 4,848 is the total amount of pages that I read in all of February. And the average page per book for the 19 books is 269 pages. So that is kind of like an average book, I would say. The longest book that I read was 420 pages. So that is kind of like the big difference between February and January, because in January I read a book over 500 pages. So I read a book that is almost exactly 100 pages longer than the longest book of February. And the shortest book that I completed, I don't count the books that I didn't finish because the amount of pages isn't the full book or the full story. So I only counted the books that I actually finished, and the book that I finished that was the shortest is By the Fire with 86 pages, which is also interesting because it's like 40 pages longer than the shortest book of January. That's kind of interesting. And the total amount of stars that I gave is counted for the 17 books. So the 16 books that I finished and the 1 book that I decided I'm gonna DNF this, I'm not going to continue this book. So I count that one because I am completing it in the sense that I have given up on that book, kind of. So 17 books, the amount of stars that I gave is 66 stars, which is very different from January. The average amount of stars is 4 stars, which I still think is kind of awesome, honestly. I do know that for Valentine's Fund, you can watch the vlog up there, I rated every single book 4 stars. Which is also like, wow, I didn't notice that until after when I finished filming that. And I was like, wait, another 4 stars? Like all of them, I gave them all 4 stars, which is really fun, honestly. I love reading good books, what can I say? And the highest number of stars that I gave a book is 5 stars. And the lowest is 2 stars. And the 2-star book is the book that I DNF'd and gave up on. And very unlike January, the stats video there are just 3 main genres this time. And they are contemporary, which is the one that I read the most, and then romance, and last fantasy. And here is the little thing that confused me, or not confused me, but surprised me the most, and it is format. So that is if I read audiobook, ebook, physical book, audio and ebook, audio and physical book, any kind of constellation of those things. And the one that I read the most was physical book with 11 books. So that was very surprising to me, honestly. I don't know, I kind of see myself as an audiobook reader or an audio and physical book reader. And here is another thing that is a big difference from January, and it is language. So what or which languages did I read in February? I only read in English. And that's kind of came as a little bit like, when I looked through all the books that I read, I was like, wait a minute, I only read in English? Really? That was a little bit of a surprise to me. I didn't really expect that. I mean, I know that I didn't read in Swedish or German this month, but it was still kind of like, I only read in English? And that is something that I am planning to change for March, just saying. I hope that at least I will read in Swedish. Maybe I will find a time to read something in German as well, but at least I want to read in 2 languages this month. And then the last thing, and I didn't bring this up in the January stats video because this little thing hadn't showed up. So this little thing here is the 2021 countries visited so far in books. So in February, I visited a total of 9 countries. And from the first to the last, countries that I visited are Russia, the US, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Israel, Palestine, South Korea, and the UK. So those are the 9 countries that I visited. And that is it for this stats video. And I will see all of you on Tuesday for another video. Good reading! Bye!